Just so I can be as clear as possible at the start of this video, I don't like microtransactions. Now, as an adult though, with full control over my spending habits, I also don't buy them either. So whether a game has or doesn't have microtransactions, I don't hold it against the game and I don't elevate the game for the lack of microtransactions. But regardless of how you feel about them, they do change our relationship with any game. I'm going to bring up Baldur's Gate 3 in this video, and we're also going to talk about Elden Ring as well. There's a lot of examples of some really high quality games that persist without microtransactions. And what's unique about those two examples is I've seen countless people say, man, I wish I could thank the devs more. I wish there was a way I could give them more money, because like it or not, the vast majority of gamers, probably not you or I, but when we're talking about the mass market gamer who just wants to sit down and play a game, they've been conditioned for these systems. They've been conditioned to spend more money beyond the initial box price. Now, originally, I was wanting to make this video just a first impressions, is it worth it, really dive in with my experience so far, and I can tell you it's been overwhelmingly positive. The thing that should be noted in this conversation is these microtransactions are completely optional. You can get these items from within the game itself. And that's where I want to bring up a counterpoint to that mindset, as Alex says. So now we have Capcom fanboys trying to stop the review bombing of Dragon's Dogma 2 on Steam by saying you don't have to buy microtransactions. They shouldn't be there in a $70 game in the first place. And I think this is such a tricky subject for me to come across as, is because when I say I have full control over my spending habits, I always view these in the economic sense of the word. Because if we don't spend money, then there's no point in having them in the first place. But clearly people are. And the fact is that when it's all said and done, if this is a breaking point for you in the game, hopefully I provided some level of service in this video. But the game is also incredibly fun. And it's that where the drama erupts. And obviously this is all on Twitter. Edmond says Capcom has made Dragon's Dogma 2 needlessly worse by implementing all of this microtransaction nonsense. It's a single player game. Why the F are they charging for character appearance changes? Why is a AAA modern game like this? I know it's greed, but still GD. And you can see here some different things he's quote tweeting, talking about the various different prices, and obviously the review bombing that is going on at the moment. Now, as a counterpoint to those views, Orbital Quack, he tweets out, funny seeing all this blind rage about Dragon Dogma 2 selling fast travel items and other stuff, but it feels like this is their first time ever seeing this. They did it before with DMC5 and Monster Hunter World, but anyone who has played them will tell you that they're unnecessary. Tales does this too. So hello everyone, and welcome to another Dragon's Dogma 2 video. My name is Brian, if you happen to be new around here, but this past week, obviously I picked up Dragon's Dogma, the original, for $5. And I have to say, based off of my experience with that game, it's impressive for a 12-year-old game. And I immediately understood why so many people fell in love with that game. And as I stepped into Dragon's Dogma 2 at full price, I instantly feel the quality of the game right out of the gate. But that's not to say this is universal acclaim, as what we're sitting down and talking about today. Now, I do have an update from the devs. We'll talk about that as well. Now, Reforged Gaming, he tweets out Dragon's Dogma 2 off to a roaring start on Steam with a 40% review. It's Jedi Survivor all over again. The press gives it a 9s and 10s and ignores the horrible performance and bad optimization. Now, I'm going to push back on that mindset, and this isn't me saying go get a better PC. This is me telling you, as a non-sponsored individual who loves GeForce Now, GeForce Now is a massive solution to the problem that a lot of gamers are running into. Now, I'm blessed. I'm blessed by you being here watching and listening to this video in words. I'm blessed that I have the funds and my wife supports me to fund my hobby. I have a 3080 with 64 gigs of RAM and a monster CPU. So I'm running this game easily at 60 frames or more. Actually, one of the things is I had to actually cap it at 60 because whenever I stream, that ends up causing some issues. If the FPS of the game goes over 60, my stream freaks out on me for some reason. So all of that being said is that I could actually probably even crush more graphics and fidelity of the game in and of itself as a beautiful game. But I have that ability and not everybody does. And that's where cloud streaming truly benefits a lot of people. And that's where it's going to be interesting to see ultimately with the consoles. Now, he also adds, it says, it's also more microtransactions than a free-to-play game of the year right here. I do not think this has more microtransactions than a free-to-play game, but I understand people's frustrations. Now, I've been obviously wondering, as my voice cracks because puberty is kicking in, I've been obviously wondering about how this was going to be received based off of its performance alone. My co-host of the Epic Loot Radio podcast, Kirk, that gamer, he said it feels more like it's going to be an amazing PS6 game, and that's truly based off of the consoles running this game around 30 frames per second. Now, as somebody who's on PC, this in and of itself has been an absolute beautiful game, a beautiful experience. No loading screens, combat is fluid, the game feels like I'm there. In fact, the immersion quality whenever it's raining and all of these different options, I think really add into it. But Dragon's Dogma 2 devs have kind of weighed in on some of the feedback that they're getting, and your feedback is, I guess, the appropriate term. I think more pushback, at least if you're going to buy into the Twitter viewpoint. He says, to all Dragon's Dogma 2 players, we'd like to update you on the status of the following items, of which we received numerous comments from the community. To all those looking forward to this game, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. Obviously, they're working to fix crashes and bug fixes. The option to obviously start a new game, they're looking to add that in as well, and we don't have an ETA on that, but that is coming. Regarding the paid DLC, all the items listed below can be obtained in-game or as paid DLC items. And so when it comes to character creation or all these different things, all of this stuff is earnable in game. And if you want to open your wallet, which honestly I would encourage you not to, these things all tie into economics. And I feel like I'm, I do come across as the middle ground, but I feel that the answer is clearly people spend the money on these things. The reasons why they add them is because they're going to make plenty of money. If it was going to cost them money, they wouldn't do it as a business, and that sucks. So my encouragement is that, guys, if you don't like these systems, don't engage with them. That doesn't mean you can just, you could like, oh, I'm going to boycott the game. Good luck to you. Game's fun. That's the only rule about video games. A boycott of a video game just promotes the video game itself as long as the game is fun. And we've seen that happen time and time again. Hogwarts Legacy is the most recent example of that being a massive gift to the game and the developers being one of the best selling games of last year. Now, on this note, regarding the frame rate, a large amount of the CPU usage is allocated to each character and calculating the impact of their physical presence in various areas. Yeah, I feel this immediately. This ties into the immersion. It feels like we are a part of this world. Now, in certain situations where numerous characters appear simultaneously, the CPU usage can be very high and may affect the frame rate. We are aware of such situations. Setting and reducing GPU load may currently have a limiting effect. However, we are looking into ways to improve performance in the future. I've even heard people running around killing villagers to help improve the frame rates. There's a lot going on, and so when you get into those big cities, you can see and feel that if you're not on a high-end PC or on GeForce Now. So where do we fall? Where is my overall conclusion? I am absolutely in love with this game. I think if you have a kind of a calling, if you feel like you should not support games with microtransactions, I'm not your judge, jury, or executioner. It's a free market. You do whatever the F you want with your money and your time. But at the same time, it's a freaking incredible game. And if you're gonna have your beliefs and your principles, because that's what they are, there's nothing wrong with that, keep you from having fun, if you're gonna let it ruin your day, that in and of itself, I think, is the biggest tragedy. Whether you decide to play or not play this game, in the long run, I think the biggest tragedy is if people let the fact that they made this decision for the interest of their company, and that's what they all do. You can call it greed, because companies, that's their whole purpose. And I think we've seen a lot of people, or at least a lot of companies, try to like edge in on this ESG, hey, we're your friends, hey, we believe in the things that you believe in kind of mindset, and kind of try to blur that line. And all of that at the end of the day is just straight up marketing. Anyhow, guys, I really am enjoying this game. I'm going to continue to enjoy this game, and I hope that you get the opportunity to enjoy this game, whether you're playing on the cloud or on PC. And for the console players out there, I hope you enjoy it as well. Honestly, I don't want anybody not to have fun with video games, but you never know. I can't fix all the issues in the world in one video, but we'll keep trying, and that's why we'll keep making videos. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully you got something good out of this video. I hope that I'll see you in the next one. But until then, take care.